Okay, so I got video up and running today. So this is the first time that I'll be using video. But hopefully I will like it. Drinking the leftover coffee from yesterday, so I still had some left. And I'm gonna go ahead and clear all the charts. I was thinking I should have done this yesterday, so that way it was one less thing to do this morning. But I'm gonna go through and just clear all the drawings on every single chart. It does feel a little weird knowing that this video is on. I don't know why. It just feels a little odd. But I think it could be cool to later on see like how I actually looked and how I actually acted in each trade, and I can see if I was distracted or whatever. So it might help, it might not. Okay, so cleared all the charts here. Let's go ahead and start with the ES. Looks like we are trending up. And that looks correct to me right now. I like to extend these right and then pull the anchor back so that way it doesn't move around. So if you do that, then as the bars print, it won't move around on you. Not really much else to kind of mark up on this one. So I'd be looking for an entry if prices potentially return to this uptrend, but I do want to note the prices are not reaching the opposite side. So let's see if they're able to do it right here. Incur looks pretty similar as expected. We do have kind of this double bottom right here. Going to extend that. Uptrend, break a new high. Looks like you can't really get the same exact uptrend that you have on the ES there, so I'm going to draw it off of this low instead. And I do like the way that fits as well. Extend that and pull it back. And yeah, it kind of looks like prices might be working up towards a measured move. Looks like they've already hit that. But you can clearly see there's two legs right there. Generally, I won't even look at this like previous days stuff, but it's possible. So looking at this one, you clearly have some overnight highs there and overnight lows here. Kind of looks like a range so far. And drawing this up that way, I believe there's a break and new high for the uptrend. So uptrend is played out. Looks like there's a little bit of a smaller range. Don't really need that. Looks like it for some reason grabbed there. Uptrend break a new high, downtrend break a new low. And then we're just kind of moving sideways. So we kind of just have this, I don't really know exactly where the support is. So I'm just going to draw the resistance for now. But clearly there is some resistance with this triple test coming in here. So overall, probably short biased in this one, but prices are playing a range and I want to wait on something kind of more certain. As far as the NQ goes, I might consider a trend or a trade to the upside. But as of right now, it's looking like similar to the ES, prices are failing to reach the opposite side of this trend, so hesitant to do that. Now going over into the RTY, we have an uptrend that has a break and a new high, so that's basically perfect there. I want to see if prices are going to turn down afterwards. Hop on over to the 4, whatever it is, my second monitor where it has the 4 charts, and I'm going to draw some similar trend lines here. So that way I can sort of keep up with everything all at once instead of flipping back and forth between each chart, which is tough. For some reason, there's always a lot of bars on the CL during the overnight like more than the other charts, but then it kind of slows down during the day, so it's kind of odd. Okay, so I feel pretty confident about how I'm reading everything right now. So just to kind of recap what I might be looking for, I want to see prices come off the opposite side on the ES. So if prices are able to trade up to the opposite side, then I want to see some sort of pullback to the main side to go long. Something like that would be nice. On the NQ, similarly, I want to see prices trade up to this opposite side before they come down, and then test this to be able to go long. And the CL, I'm going to wait for some sort of downtrend here because I am sort of down biased as prices are coming off the highs there. I also want to draw this resistance area. So this looks actually like really similar to this area. So these two look very similar. But anyway, I think prices are down biased coming off the highs. I'm expecting them to go down to the lows, but I'm not going to take any sort of trades until I see some sort of downtrend. RTY, uptrend has a break a new high, so I'm not looking for any longs at this point. Looks like there might be a double top there. I might be looking for shorts if prices are able to reverse downwards. So if we get some downward momentum, maybe we can get some sort of entry to the short side. And I am watching the four charts on my second monitor. It doesn't feel as weird to have the webcam on now. But also that's partially because I can't see it. So I can't see what I look like. I can't see the other screen at all. But I'm actually going to pull it up real quick to make sure that the, what's it called? That the mic is the right mic. So I'm actually going to tap it real quick. Okay, yeah, I think it is the right mic. Because the webcam that I just got also has a mic, so I figured it might automatically switch to that one. All right, got a zone in here. The ES is continuing to move upwards. So I'd say the ES and the NQ are the two that I'm actually considering an entry right now. So ES is going upwards, looks like it's going to reach the opposite side. Just getting an idea of kind of where we are in terms of yesterday's price action. Even if we don't reach the opposite side, prices are looking like they're getting pretty close. So close might be close enough for me, but we'll see as prices sort of trade. And then on the NQ, same thing. We're just kind of moving up. Looks like we'll probably reach that opposite side. Just going to go ahead and remove that measured move because that's probably not going to come into play. And let's hop back over here to the ES because this is looking most likely. I was able to meditate this morning, so I didn't do it yesterday, but there's no particular reason. I had plenty of time, but I just I forgot, I guess, because I remember at some point, it was right before the market opened, I was like, why did I have so much time this morning? And then I realized I was like, oh, well, I didn't meditate. That was like 20 more minutes that I had in the morning, so odd. I always try and mute the mic whenever I'm going to cough or sneeze or anything, so that way it's not too loud. Okay, so we're just about to go into the open, about 30 seconds away. Prices are just about coming off the opposite side on the ES and the NQ as well. So both of those are looking very similar. Definitely long biased on both of those. CL continuing to chop sideways, and the RTY has made the double top and is kind of just stalling right now. Looks like we're really playing this midline here on the ES. So I do believe this trend is correct. If we go to the NQ, it looks like I might be able to sort of pull this down a little bit. So it's just off the close. I tried to like cut the bar a tad, but I think the midline looks better that way. There's a possible second entry setting up on the NQ, but this uptrend already has a break and new high. We didn't quite reach the opposite side, so I don't want to take just a second entry long kind of in the middle of nowhere. So assuming like we get a bullish bar here, I'm probably going to skip that. But if we come down to the trend line again, then maybe I'll consider it. I want to consider that there could be a short-term downtrend here. Unsure of that. RTY is continuing upwards, even though we did reach this break and new high. So we reached this break and new high, but prices are just continuing upwards. Coming back to the NQ, this would create a second entry long, but I think we could be blocked by a short-term downtrend. So there's a few different things I don't like about this one. The fact that we didn't reach the opposite side, and then now the fact that we could be blocked. So I'm gonna skip that. I thought we might get a really bullish bar there, so I considered it, but I'm gonna wait for some sort of higher low, just in case. It looks like prices are going to push on through there, and this uptrend is probably incorrect. Now hopping over to the ES, prices are still inside of this uptrend, so there's still the potential for an entry off of the trend line, though again, prices did not reach the opposite side twice, so they came off the main side, didn't reach the opposite side, came off the main side, didn't reach it again. So not sure if I'm going to take an entry there. We are getting a strong move down on the NQ. I'm going to go ahead and remove this trend because I don't think it's correct, and consider something like this, though that is very, very uncertain. Something like that on the downtrend I think is correct. This uptrend could just be something like this, and maybe this is just a second attempt higher. Not sure about that on the NQ, but clearly we are trending down. To me, it looks like everything's played out to the upside, so I might consider a short. Looking at the ES, we're just kind of chopping sideways. We're getting some choppy bars. RTY continuing higher, no setups there. CL has broken out of the resistance, so we've broken out of that resistance and the overnight highs. So trying to see if we're going to fade back within, and if we do, if we get a strong leg down, then maybe I'll consider some sort of second entry short. But we did make a higher high here, so want to keep that in mind. That's a higher high. RTY, there could be some sort of secondary trend working up, something still in play here. Unsure about that, but just gonna go ahead and draw it just in case. Okay, flip back to the ES. The ES is getting close to this trend line, but prices are looking really choppy and sideways, so I'm thinking chances are there won't be an entry here. I feel pretty confident about this trend line though. I don't want to draw too wide of a downtrend, and I don't think that would be correct. So still just mainly watching the ES and the NQ. consider a short on the NQ. Looks like this downtrend is probably correct. Gonna draw some resistance up at these highs. Could end up being a range up here, but not sure about that one. And trying to see if this ES is going to hold the trend line here. So far, not getting any momentum to the upside, pushing away. Congestive. Clearly that congestion here. So prices aren't really pushing away. Definitely not making me feel great about taking a long entry here. I'm not going to take one if it sets up like right here, but maybe if we get some sort of failed second entry, it could be interesting. Let's flip over to the NQ. I would consider some sort of pullback. Really headed down strongly on NQ, which makes me think the ES will probably follow suit. Okay, we've broken the uptrend on the ES, so I'm thinking that prices will probably test these highs. So I'm thinking the price will probably move to these highs. And RTY, it is looking like this uptrend could be correct, so I want to keep an eye on this to see if prices are able to hold that. NQ trading down strongly, looking for some sort of pullback to go short. Looks like it is still in play here, this downtrend. I believe that's correct. Nothing really to see on the CL chart. So if prices start to move down strongly, then I might be looking for a short, but as of right now, there's nothing to do. Okay, ES is setting up for a possible trade, so if you draw this downtrend, which is kind of choppy and maybe uncertain, it looks like there's a close outside and a new low, so if you get a higher low here, then I might be considering an entry. And looks like prices kind of reject off the EMA there. So it's not the higher low that I'd be looking for. I'd be looking for a push above the EMA, strong push above the EMA, and then a pullback to test it. It's not what you got. Downtrend on the NQ still in play so far. RTY still continuing to sort of head higher. Possibility that we're looking for a measured move up. Looks like we've basically already reached it. Not quite, but close. Okay, ES is pushing through the EMA, so there is the possibility for a higher low here. And the possibility for a second entry short on the NQ. So two possible trades. Looks like the NQ is the closest, so possible second entry short.
Order submitted.
Definitely want to be careful of this short-term uptrend. But if we get a strong bearish bar here, then we'll probably take it. Okay, so that is a very strong bearish bar. Nope, didn't close on its
Order
lows.
canceled.
So nothing to really do there. It looked strong though, so we'll have to see if it continues downwards. ES is breaking lower, so potential for this higher low. Feels weird to be looking for a short on the NQ and a long on the ES.
Order submitted.
But I think that that is correct. It looks like 2 legs down, and then now we're getting this push above the EMA. So could see that higher low there. Waiting to see how this bar forms. So far not seeing any momentum in it. Okay, not seeing any momentum in that bar. Incur is continuing down off that second entry. So it's unfortunate this bar didn't end up bearish enough. But it looks like we are going to probably retest those lows, creating the possibility for a failure on CL. So we have a first entry, now we're pushing below the EMA. If we pull back and get a second entry, then I might be looking for a failure there. Looks like there could be a downtrend in play. Okay, so right now I'm watching the ES and the CL. ES, there's still the possibility for this higher low right here, but chances are it's not going to work out as prices are just kind of looking choppy. On the NQ, we did get the break in new low for that downtrend, so it kind of sets the stage for maybe going higher. Prices are looking choppy there. I'd have to see a pretty big bullish bar at this point. I doubt we're going to get that. It's possible though. Just in case, getting ready for it. And looks like it's a doji, so
Order canceled.
not interested there. We're just continuing to move down on CL, so it looks like we are going to move down. Failure is probably out of the question, so thinking maybe a second entry short now. RTY, we're coming back to test this trend here. Let's see if this holds. It's one strong spike down, so we did reach the 2 legs up. Now we have a strong spike down, so we're testing this trend line. If we get some sort of second entry short here, I might consider that. So right now I'm looking at the CL and the RTY. The ES is looking so sideways right now that I'm probably not going to consider an entry there. Okay, so it looks like this downtrend or this uptrend is not going to hold on the RTY most likely. The ES is just kind of going sideways. So prices came back to this same resistance level from that congestion area that I noted earlier. So it's possible that we're just kind of working sideways in a range. I'm not sure about that range. We only have one test on the low side, but this could be correct here. Prices are clearly kind of just moving sideways, not getting that upward momentum, but ultimately I am expecting them to test these highs. NQ downtrend created the break and new low here, so I'm not looking for any more downward movement at this time. I'm seeing a support level down here that I want to keep in mind. CL continuing to move downwards. I'm looking for short entries and short entries only. Could be some sort of downtrend like this. I'm looking for, chances are we're not going to get this failed second entry. It's also moved pretty far, so I'm looking for a second entry short at this point. And it looks like we've broken this uptrend, so I'm thinking it's not correct. It's truly this with a break and a new high here. So I'm going to draw this. Looks like we get a congestive area, get the failed breakout, and then we continue higher there. Okay, that doesn't end up coming into play. So now we're moving down here. Short-term downtrend already has a break and new low. But it's looking like prices are reversing after the uptrend has played out. So possibly looking for short entries there. Ultimately, I'm really only looking for entries on the CL right now. Looking for a second entry short on the CL ideally. In Q, you might even be getting some sort of range as well. So I want to draw this just in case, but I don't want to draw it as a range because I don't want that to mess me up. So I'm going to do the same on the ES because I did that yesterday. I messed up. I drew a range too early whenever it truly wasn't one. So I just want to draw the support and resistance and see if that ends up holding. Going back to the RTY, it looks like maybe this uptrend could be correct. Something like that. Just keep it like this. Maybe that has a, so leg 1, leg 2, that gets a break a new high. And that makes a lot of sense. I actually like that a lot. Yes, not even close to an entry. Incur already has the break in 2 legs down, so nothing I'm looking to do there. The only one that I'm really looking at is the CL right now. Lots of action this morning. Lots and lots of action. Looks like the ES is going to test the highs now. Most likely. We'll see how prices react off this resistance. In Q, seeing if this is going to end up being a range or not. Not really expecting anything out of NQ at this point. Want to see how the ES reacts here. Looks like we're probably going to push up and through here. The high is up here. I believe we will probably push and see that high. Looks like 1, 2 legs up, so if we don't reach it, it could be a possible short, but not one that I'd be looking to take. Looks like the NQ is getting kind of caught in this possible range, creating this double top. Let's see what's going to happen there. CL is creating a possible second entry short. The thing is, it's just congestion though. 1, 2, 3, 4 stacked bars with a bunch of neutral bars. But there is a first entry, so if we move up, we could get a second entry if it forms right at the top of this congestion. RTY is continuing higher. I'm wondering if the uptrend could be wider. It doesn't look like it though. This one still could have been correct, and prices could still be moving to the break a new high of that though. That's definitely a possibility. I don't think I would have wanted to take this trade, but it's a possibility after this downtrend played out. If I don't know, I wouldn't want to take it. I'd be looking for some sort of higher low or something of that nature. Yes, looks like it is probably going to move to the break a new high. NQ still kind of caught in that range. And then CL has made the second entry short, but it's just still within this congestive area. So as I was saying, the only way that I would have taken this is if it kind of popped out the top and had enough room to to sort of move down a little bit, and this one doesn't. I mean, you're taking it right into the lows of the congestion, so I'm not going to do that. It might move down, but that's one of those ones that I'm just going to watch it go without me. Might be coming off this downtrend here. Looks like it. Just gonna go ahead and redraw that. So there is that second entry short, but like I said, with all that congestion, I'm not gonna take that. It's far too uncertain. RTY, possible failed second entry and second entry long forming. I think the prices look like they're probably going to come up and test these highs. That's what it looks like to me. Same with the ES. Still looking like we're probably going to test these highs, but prices are looking really choppy. incur, I'm going to go ahead and draw this range. So originally I was saying that I wanted to hold off on drawing it because I wasn't certain about it. But now that prices are sort of playing off that resistance level, it looks pretty certain to me, so I'm going to draw this range. I think inside you can draw this uptrend that has a break a new high. Nothing for me to take here. Downtrend's already played out. Just waiting for prices to create a clearer structure. The CL, the structure is still pretty clear. You could get some sort of second entry short, but we were finding some support in this level, so got to be careful for that. It does look like it could be the range midline the prices we're finding support on. RTY, again, thinking that we could find a second entry long, but I'm thinking that I could be hesitant to do that because if this trend, if this major uptrend is incorrect and we're not actually moving to a break and new high, then this could be actually a good short setup where we're getting like a 1-2 legs up. So like if you draw the short-term uptrend, we might get a break and new high for the short-term uptrend, creating a lower high. And I've seen a lot of those setups lately, and that could be a decent one. So I need to be careful in this area because it could be either one. It could be that we're moving towards this high. It could be that we're about to fail the high and we're going to move lower. Yes, looks like it's made its 2 legs up. So I mentioned earlier, this looks like one kind of 2 legs up. Didn't actually even make a measured move, but you can see one break, second leg up. So this is kind of what I was talking about with RTY here, where I was thinking that it could be like a 1-2 failing to get the highs and then creating the move lower, like what's happening here. incur continuing to move down as well. Short-term downtrend. Want to see how prices are going to react off the overnight lows and this double bottom. Yes, there's not too much to say. There was that resistance. We popped out outside of that, and then boom, now we're trading lower. So not too much to say there. Okay, incur is touching off these lows. And by touching off of, I mean pushing right through. Could be working towards some sort of measured move down. Something like that. ES is following suit, getting a pretty strong downtrend, so I could be looking for a short on either one of these. RTY as well. So all three of those are moving down, which makes sense. So I'd consider a short entry mainly on the ES, because prices look like they have attempted this high now with 2 legs up, and now we're trading down strongly. So I'd definitely consider maybe a second entry short on the ES. Prices are testing the overnight lows on the NQ. Looks like they've broken outside of this short-term downtrend, and we might get a close outside a new low. So it looks like we're just going to go ahead and move down to that. So not really giving me a chance to enter there. Looks like that. Possible second entry short. Still a possibility for a short here, but prices are looking really sideways. And the RTY, I'm not looking for any sort of longs. I don't think that's the right move. I think instead it's probably better to play this as if it's already played out. And we might get some sort of daily range now. Some sort of range like this. That's what I'm thinking. Continuing down on the NQ. Downtrend could be wider, but I'm hesitant to draw any wider. Let's see. Could be that, but just gonna wait and see. NQ looks like it, or ES looks like it's already gotten a break in new low as well. Well, maybe, I don't know. It looks like this could still be in play here, so maybe a short on the ES could still make sense. I could see a short on the RTY, maybe a failed second entry, but it's sort of uncertain there. After this played out, you get a break in new low, uptrend, struggling to play out, and then price is just kind of chopping sideways. So probably best to skip that because I'd rather have something a little bit more clear. Possibility of a daily range on this one as well. Price is really moving lower on the NQ. Looking like this downtrend could be correct. We're moving towards measured moves, what it looks like. So if I were still looking at the RTY, looking for this possible break in new high, now you'd have a downtrend, break a new low, spike up, and then a second entry long. Prices are looking pretty sideways and chopping around the EMA. Wanted to point that out though, just in case prices do end up taking off. I wouldn't take that regardless though. CL moving up. On the CL, this downtrend looks incorrect. I'm thinking that it's just one spike down. Spike down, break new low, and that's probably over with. In Q, this downtrend is probably incorrect as well. It's probably just one spike down, break a new low. So I'm not looking for any shorts there until there's like a full pullback. So we need like a full correction that's completed. Getting a little short-term uptrend right there, so if we get a second entry short, I might be interested. first entry. Looking at the NQ again, price is continuing to move down, so it makes me think that maybe this is correct. Maybe this was right. Maybe that was right after all. Or it could just be 2 legs down. Could just be this and then 2 legs down. ES is setting up for a potential second entry, but prices are really just kind of chopping sideways. Getting the break and new low on the ES. So we've reached that break and new low. There wasn't really a chance to enter. There was just this 1 leg back, so nothing to do there. NQ continuing to move lower. Possibility of a larger downtrend in play. Not sure about that one. Obviously, this overnight low did not end up holding. We've reached the measured move down. Looks like there's almost a triple test there, not quite. RTY looking range like. Looks like I was right not to look for any longs in this area. Sort of congested there. Okay, ES is really moving down. I'm gonna draw a similar downtrend to the one that I was looking at on the NQ, just in case this ends up coming into play. Draw the measured move down. Really moving down strongly on both of these. 3 of them actually are moving down really strong on ES, NQ, and the RTY. Those 3 seem to be somewhat correlated. Definitely the ES and the NQ seem very correlated, and then the RTY seems to sort of follow suit a little bit. Wow, that's a really strong downtrend. Okay, so I'm going to extend this out to where the midline fits. Well, if I just put it right there, the midline does fit pretty well all throughout there. We went right through the measured move, so that didn't end up actually helping really at all. Let's check out the ES. Looks like you could fit this down here, potentially not quite, but close. If you pull this in tighter, maybe with that opposite side. So I do like that. Goes right to the measured move. Have to see if this downtrend holds, but now that we've made these 2 measured moves down, and I'm not positive about this downtrend, I probably won't want to play that until it's kind of proven to me. Now how about the NQ? We moved down very strongly. Extend that. Not really seeing an entry on the NQ, at least. Not right now. Whatever it is, it's going to be short, but I'm not exactly sure where or when yet. Have to see probably a full correction at this point. It looks like you did get kind of 2 measured legs down there. Nothing to really see on the CL, and I would be looking for a short on the RTY as well. So shorts all across the board basically. Okay, so we're pulling back in both the NQ and the ES, creating the potential for short. Getting one leg back here. Again, I would be sort of hesitant to take one because it does look like we've already made 2 legs down. But if this downtrend is correct, and it might be, then you might get a second entry short off of that, in which case I might be willing to take that. Kind of have that correction here, so it's kind of like a hidden second entry here, but I would not want to take a hidden second entry, not there. RTY continuing lower. You have a double top on the ES. Waiting on the sure things, the hell yeah kind of setups. I'll never feel 100% sure, but like there are times whenever I'm feeling pretty damn sure. So looking for the closeout side and hopefully a new high, turning right down off of this triple test and possible downtrend. I might be willing to take that on the ES if that appears. NQ is looking similarly, where we're getting this short-term uptrend. Looks like we're kind of getting a closeout side, a new high, but we're kind of in the middle of nowhere on the NQ compared to the ES. And we've made these 2 measured legs down on the RTY. All downtrends have played out, so there's not really much to do there. Okay, so we did get that break higher. So first entry, this would be a second entry, but this signal bar is not very good. It's going to have to move higher first for me to be interested. Looks like we are moving higher there.
Order submitted.
I'd rather see a nice like bullish up move that then gets reversed. Something like that. If that reverses, I'll probably take it. So not quite. Again, I'm hesitant because we've already made these 2 legs down and I'm not sure about this downtrend. In fact, we didn't hold the downtrend there. It still could be right though because of this potential overshoot. This is 2 legs back. I feel like the bias is down enough that even though you've already made these 2 legs down, if you get a perfect kind of 2-leg pullback here, so if you get a nice bearish bar, then I'll probably take it anyway. Though I do recognize that is a little bit more risky. Just kind of chopping higher on the NQ. Maybe if we draw something off of here, it could be this could be the true correction as we kind of chop higher. CL is breaking outside of the highs again. So after this downtrend played out early, we're coming back and breaking outside of these highs. I'm thinking maybe it could be a range where these are the lows and maybe these are the highs instead of this overnight highs sort of range. We're definitely not really respecting that very much. Still the possibility for a second entry short. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a second entry. It would be kind of like a lower high now. But chances are getting lower.
Order canceled.
Price is looking kind of really choppy and sideways, so I'm thinking I probably won't take that. This downtrend is probably incorrect. It's probably just 2 legs down, so I'm glad that nothing ended up setting up there. Okay, so we did get a bearish bar there, so it's possible that this could have been the 2 legs up and then like a lower high. Again, it's kind of looking choppy, and I'm uncertain about this area, but we'll see if I was right or not to remove that. I'm going to keep it off for now, though. So it's looking like this could have been a good one. Let's pull this back in. So maybe this was correct, and I should have taken that. I'll have to look at that later. Just want to see if I would get out of that or not. NQ looks like it could be moving sideways in a range. CL moving higher. So it looks like, yeah, I probably did pass up a good trade here. Passed up on that one because I felt like a little bit too uncertain. But chances are this is a good one, so I probably should have taken that. Now we have the breaking new low for this downtrend coming right off the overnight lows. Going to go in and kind of correct some of these trends. Looks like an uptrend with a break and a new high. Kind of gives a little bit of congestive action. I don't think that downtrend is correct. I think we're just playing a larger one here, but we'll see if this ends up holding and being correct. CL continuing to play up this trend. Finding buying on the ES, NQ, and, well, finding buying on all of them, to be honest. Potential for a failed second entry. Downtrends have played out. You've created these 2 measured legs down. Even this downtrend has a break a new low, coming off the overnight lows, getting a spike up. So you might get a failed second entry. This is here, but also it created a higher high each time, so I'm not sure how serious that's going to be. NQ getting that similar spike up right there. Trying to see if this downtrend is correct. Unsure about that. CL is continuing to move higher. This is looking less range-like as each time prices have come up to the high. So here was the overnight highs, created a slightly new high, played out super early, came up here, popped out the high side again, played out super early, and now we're moving up. So it's looking not very range-like. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that. Don't think it's super helpful. Don't think that is super helpful either. So just kind of playing the short-term stuff on this CL chart. RTY is similarly turned up after these 2 legs down. Getting a higher low in the ES, testing the downtrend on NQ. It's a really strong higher low here, pushing up and through what I thought might have been resistance. So potential for a failed second entry is here. NQ is pushing right through, not quite actually, it's testing this downtrend. Potential for a second entry short there. So again, there's sort of 2 separate ideas. So I'm kind of thinking short on the NQ, but long on the ES, which seems kind of weird because they're pretty correlated. Okay, so we're moving down, we're creating the possibility for a failure. So we tick lower.
Order submitted.
Gonna prepare for that just in case. Could get a failed second entry here. I'm also watching the NQ to see if there's a short that could set up. So far this bar just looks like a doji. Let's see if we get any upward momentum. So far not seeing it. So we're not really seeing that continuation of momentum that I was hoping for. Pure doji bar, not
Order
wanting to take
canceled.
that. NQ still kind of holding what could be this downtrend right here. This is the first entry, so if we get a move lower and then a second entry, then I might be considering a short there. We are moving higher here, but I'm not going to take that. I was looking for a bullish bar there and didn't get one. It's unfortunate. But again, I said this yesterday and I've said this before, that it's more important that I'm getting the overall direction right. So here I was thinking long, and even though we didn't get the signal bar I was looking for, I did get the kind of move right there. In Q, prices did not get that lower high that I was looking for, so we did not prove this downtrend. It still could be correct, but for the most part it doesn't look correct to me. Flipping back to the RTY, looks like we might be getting an uptrend here. Something like that. So maybe this was 2 larger legs down, and this uptrend is actually correct that I had earlier, and now we might be heading towards the break a new high. You do get a first entry, second entry failure, but prices have moved a really far away at this point, so I don't really want to take that. But now if you kind of come down here and get possibly a second entry long, maybe I'd be interested. In Q, looks like short-term uptrend has gotten a break and 2 legs to a new high. Also creates a second entry short there. This is too aggressive for me because I'm not sure about this downtrend, and this is kind of Feels like there's a lot of upward momentum, but if we get maybe a lower high under the EMA, maybe I'd be interested there. Gotta stretch out from time to time. We're getting quite a bit of down movement here. I don't really want to take this lower high right into the EMA, not with all this congestion and everything. Yes, looks like you got this break and new high for this uptrend. Now we're coming back down to the lows to test these again. In Q, creating the possibility for a failed second entry though. Probably not anymore. Too congestive. I can't see the setting up right. Maybe if it ticks higher and gets a really big bearish bar, but for now, or maybe if this could close. So yeah, okay, if this closes lower and then you get a sort of one that's testing up above the EMA, it's a different story. Okay, the CL, it looks like I got rid of that range too early. This uptrend still could be correct, but it looks like I got rid of the range too early. Maybe it's just truly up here. Hesitant to play that though, because you have made a higher high each time, but this is a pretty strong sell-off right there. Okay, so the one that I was looking for is the NQ. If we tick higher here and get a nice bearish bar, then I might still consider that as a failed second entry. Not entirely sure of this downtrend, but I do think there's still a down bias overall, and this uptrend has clearly played out.
Order submitted.
So I might be willing to take something there, depending on how this bar forms. If we get the big bearish bar, first entry, second entry, looking like we might come back within this congestive area. Let's see what happens. Not getting that bearish, well, maybe getting that final little push down there. So it's definitely still possible. Okay, so we are getting that bearish momentum. And looks
Order
like I
filled.
am taking that. Ooh. So I forgot to adjust the bracket there. So I still had it on my ES bracket, which was a lot smaller. Man, the bracket sizes on here are really tough. It's tough to get it right because it's like so exact. So this one should be at 75. Can't quite get it right. Let's zoom all the way in here. So I believe this should be a little bit higher right there. Wait, no, not quite. Why am I struggling with this so much? There we go. Okay, so I got that in the right place now. All right, and there's no point in really watching this one, so I'm going to go and flip to another chart and see what's going on. Well, it looks like we're getting really close to the exit there, so I'm just going to kind of stick this one out. Yes, we are getting close to this support level. Looks like this range is probably still holding here. In Q, we are sort of turning around there, so we got real close to my exit, and then we kind of turned up and around there. Make sure this is in the right spot. It is one tick higher. So it looks like we're probably going to get stopped out with that big bullish bar there. CL continuing to sort of move down. Looks like there's the possibility for a second entry short, but again, we are making these higher highs and higher lows, so this range is pretty uncertain. Looks like we're moving towards a break and new high for this uptrend here. And yeah, let's flip back to the NQ and see how that's going. Just kind of chopping sideways. So didn't really get any follow through on this bullish bar, at least not as of yet. But it's kind of up in the air whether this entry is going to work out or not. I was thinking it would be cool to have like a heart rate monitor up on the screen too. I don't really know how I'd do that, but it would be pretty cool. So then I could see how my heart rate's going. Right now it's not going very fast. I feel pretty good about this trade. I think that's why. I mean, you know, even if it doesn't work out, I still feel like it was a worthwhile one to take a risk on. So I think that's like, seems to be the difference on when my heart rate seems to increase and when it doesn't, is whether I think it's an aggressive trade or not. Okay, so we're getting another attempt down at these lows, taking off my order. Looks like I think we quite literally touched it. We did. It's very close. So let's see if we're able to push on through there.
Target filled.
We are. So we got out of that one. I do think it's a pretty good trade. Failed second entry. Okay, so there's not really anything I'm looking for on the ES. Looks like we have this uptrend, break in two legs, attempt at a new high, turns down, downtrend gets a break and new low, ends right at the overnight lows. Uptrend gets a break and new high, spike down, gets a break and new low, and now we're just kind of congesting. My gut says that we'll probably turn higher here, but we're just kind of dissipating this downward momentum before we're going to go higher. The NQ, I was expecting that prices might reach this new low, so after this downtrend breaks, again, I'm not entirely sure this downtrend, but I do think there's kind of a down bias here. So after this downtrend, I was thinking we're probably going to head back to these lows. This uptrend got a break and two legs up. Now we're just kind of moving sideways, so gonna have to see what happens there. Definitely looking range-like. Congestive there. CL is picking up a lot of momentum at 10:30, so looks like there's a news event going on. Not sure. I got to put my news guard back on. It's really dumb to trade without one, so I don't really know why I've been doing that. So I'm not seeing any movement, any abnormal movement in the ES or the NQ really, but the CL is getting a lot of movement right there, right at 10:30, which is typically a news time. possible second entry long on the RTY. So looking for this break and new high, you get a first entry, second entry long. You're going right into the highs though. I think this could be decent, but I just saw it and I don't want to take it impulsively, so I'm not going to take that, but I think it could be a good trade. Didn't have enough time to analyze it, so I should have been looking at that chart, but I wasn't. Okay, finding a lot of upward momentum on that one. I'm just gonna go ahead and mark that blue. I think that was probably a good trade. So here is one example, another example. So whenever I'm reviewing this later, of me trying to do too much, being distracted, trying to do too much. Because I think I probably would have taken that. NQ looks like I just barely got out, so it might have been another lucky trade there. Prices then moved up. CL is really struggling to make these lower lows. So it looks like this downtrend got to break a new low. I'm going to remove this range because it just doesn't seem quite right. Not entirely sure. Not entirely sure what's happening on CL. RTY. I want to see about this target here. Looks like you would just about reach that right there. Prices look to be headed to this breaking new high here. So going for that breaking new high and reaching this one too. So probably would have taken that one. I don't have to say it again. I probably, whatever. Yep, we did move on up higher here. Let's see if we're able to make this high. Going to remove this downtrend from NQ. Not sure what might be right there. Feeling a little bit confused about what's happening on NQ. Chances are this is not a very good trade. CL is making higher highs and higher lows. So feeling pretty confused about what's happening in the CL. In NQ, I feel like I understand the ES. ES is pretty straightforward today. RTY is pretty straightforward as well. You've made the break and new high for this uptrend, which I've sort of danced around with. I had it there. to start off the day, and then I removed it, and then I put it back on, then I removed it, and then I put it back on. But finally, I do think it's right. Uptrend breaks with 2 legs, then you get 2 legs up, and this is basically a perfect entry right there. CL is moving up pretty strongly. Could be that. Gonna keep an eye on that just in case. That makes sense. Seeing it that way, this trade could be good. Possibly. That's like basically the same one as the RTY trade, I think. Just about. So on the ES, I'm waiting for prices to hopefully start trending up off of these lows, heading to the highs. Maybe I can get an entry there. In Q, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Gonna relook at this downtrend. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure on the NQ. Looks like you might be getting sort of a wider range, maybe something like that. Not sure. CL, trying to play this, see if this is right. RTY, pretty obvious what's happened. Uptrend gets a break and 2 legs to a new high. So if prices turn down, I might be looking for a short, but I'm probably done looking for longs. Taking that trade on NQ kind of put a damper on my mood because I think I just really got lucky and it wasn't a great trade. And then the fact that because I took that one, I missed a really great trade on the RTY kind of is annoying me a little bit. Although I should have been able to get that. I just wasn't paying close enough attention. So I remember yesterday, whenever I was doing my review, I noticed that I hadn't really missed any trades and it hadn't really affected me that I was looking at so many charts. Like it hadn't really caused me to misread anything. But at least today, it now has been an issue. I think just for that one trade though. So it hasn't been a huge issue. Something to keep in mind though. Currently watching my second monitor. I'm watching the 4 charts, just seeing what's kind of happening here, getting an idea. You could be moving towards a measured move on this RTY chart. Definitely a possibility. Have to see how that ends up holding or what happens there. Lots of measured moves on RTY. You get those 2 measured moves up, 2 measured moves down, possibly working towards a second measured move up. This resistance didn't end up coming into play really at all, so I'm just going to remove that. And it might come into play later, maybe I'll redraw it, but at least right now it doesn't seem like it's helping you at all. Getting some upward movement in the ES and the NQ. I'll check out a possible uptrend here. So if prices continue up, then I'll start looking for longs on the ES. NQ, again, I'm pretty confused. I mean, I keep drawing things and things are not really fitting on the NQ, so I need to be super hesitant to take any trades whatsoever here. Yeah, I'm just not entirely sure what's going on. CL is starting to look a little bit more straightforward. Looks to me like just the spike in channel is probably correct. So I'll be looking to take setups as prices come off of this main side. And then the RTY, I want to see if this uptrend ends up holding. It's a little bit riskier taking a trade because prices have already made the break a new high for this one. But I do think that prices might be working towards this measured move to the upside. I feel myself tensing up a little bit. So trying to actively sort of loosen up my muscles. Possible second entry long on the RTY. For a second there, I almost kind of impulsively took that. I can see a first entry, second entry, but the trend line is not super confirmed. You're not back to the EMA. You are getting some push away here, so that could be a decent trade. But with already having this break a new high, with this uptrend not being super confirmed, and not being back to the EMA, I'm personally going to skip that. Looks like the signal bar traded off quite a bit towards the end, so there's nothing to really take there anyway. But I did sort of impulsively, like immediately whenever I looked over, I was like, boom, you know, I was about to slam my entry in. So need to be careful. Need to be careful not to be too impulsive there. Definitely seems like that one trade earlier has sort of thrown me off a little bit, so need to be very careful about that. We are finding some traction off of this trend line. So prices are moving up a little bit on the RTY. No longer moving up on the ES, so chances are this uptrend is actually incorrect. Prices look to be in some sort of, could be some sort of secondary range, something like that. Could be correct. It is very uncertain, so I want to put that out there for myself whenever I'm reviewing this later. I'm not sure about that, but prices are flipping up and down above and below the EMA, so it definitely could be the case. In Q, I basically just have no idea what's happening. I have no idea. So I'm not looking to take any trades in the NQ until I see something a lot more clear, because right now this looks like an enigma to me. I mean, seriously, the only thing I can think of is this downtrend that I had earlier. And maybe we're still looking for that break a new low. But that's like super uncertain too. I don't really know about that one. Don't know. CL, I think this is, the spiking channel still seems correct to me. We're really playing that opposite side really well. So I actually found it off the opposite side. So if this continues to hold, then I'm going to play this as the uptrend. But it's really weak. Price moving above and below the EMA. Couldn't find any consistent highs. So originally I started with the overnight highs, kind of about here. And then prices kind of kept pushing up higher, making these higher highs. So I had to remove that. I think I was a little bit slow on removing that, so I want to note that for whenever I'm reviewing later. Price is looking kind of choppy and sideways here, so this uptrend could be correct. This one could be correct, but as I mentioned earlier, we've already made the break and new high for this uptrend, so I'm hesitant to play this one because this is the secondary trend compared to this one, and it's generally weaker. So even if we break this, I'm probably not going to look for a break and new high of that. It just seems like it's a lower probability bet. And this wasn't a incredibly strong trend. It could just be like a 1-2 legs up to the break and new high instead of this being its like own trend there. This is kind of looking like it could be like a 1-2 legs back to me though, you know, like a visual 2 legs back, but also it would be a, well, it wouldn't be a second entry, but it'd be like a visual 2 legs back. And that's definitely a possibility, but as I said, I'm not like particularly keen on taking any longs right here. I'd rather wait on something a little bit more certain. So there's that possible second entry long. Signal bar is not all that great, but again, looks like a visual 2 legs back, break below some congestive area. Could be something there. ES, finding some support off this overnight low again. This range that I drew is kind of looking like it's probably incorrect. But there's the possibility for a long entry here because you have this kind of visual, again, visual 2 legs back to a support level. But we are making these lower highs. So it looks like we might break below this support soon. NQ appears to be trading down. Not entirely sure of what structures are in play on the NQ. Not really sure. Could be moving towards a break and new low of this downtrend, potentially. Got about 1 hour left. Things have really slowed down quite a bit, but I think that's typical. This uptrend could be incorrect on the RTY. So I'm definitely not putting a lot of weight in it getting a break in new extreme. But it could, maybe that'll take it to the take prices up to the measured move. So that's a possibility. Not putting a bunch of weight behind that. Chances of me taking a trade off that are pretty low. Higher low on the ES. 2 legs down, higher low, potential trade there. Did make a lower low compared to these ones, but I could see this being a potential trade to just ride it back to the EMA. I don't take those because I'm pretty uncertain about that, but I could see this being a potential trade. Could be forming a downtrend on the NQ. Failed second entry, potentially. But with all the support here and all the uncertainty surrounding kind of what's going on the NQ, I'm better off skipping that in case it does set up. Looks like you're getting a range on the CL. Tight one. RTY trying to figure out whether it's going to test these highs again, maybe make this measured move, or whether we're going to turn down after we already hit the break and new high for the uptrend. Definitely getting a little tired there. I noticed my eyes were starting to get a little droopy. I was thinking there could be a failed second entry here if prices like popped above the EMA, but it's looking kind of weak right here. It's not looking like a strong push away, but we did get this move back to the EMA, So I could see this being a possibility just to scalp out before the EMA there. For 1-to-1, yeah, maybe not. In Q, this downtrend doesn't look like it was correct, but this support is most likely correct. Could be a range though. It's like a range here. Got the double top here, double bottom there. This range is probably correct. Just kind of waiting until prices return to the main side of this trend line before I'm considering anything on the CL. RTY, chances are there won't be any setups, at least until prices start trending down. If they do. We're getting the failed second entry on the ES, but setting up under the EMA, no real momentum there. Definitely not looking to take that. Support could be lower. Maybe you have a touch there, and there for this range. Or it could be incorrect. Maybe it is already just a break. Don't know. A lot of coffee grounds in my coffee. It's from yesterday though. Just whatever I had left over from yesterday morning. Just kind of cycling between each chart. On my second monitor, the main, or not main, the one that has 4 charts. Just kind of cycling between each chart, just kind of seeing what's going on, getting a read on it, seeing if there's anything that I'd potentially be interested in taking. I wonder if there's a way to have it so like the main screen that's streaming is wherever my mouse is. So like if I go over to this screen, then this will be where the stream is showing. Then if I go over to this one, it'll be the opposite. There's probably a way to do that. I'll have to look into it. Like have it flip-flop. That'd be nice. Okay, so it looks like we did get kind of like a micro breakout pullback of this kind of range-like area. Now we might be moving down, and I want to see what prices are going to do as they come off of this main side of the trend line that I think is correct, though I'm still not 100% sure about. These super wide spiking channels sort of mess me up pretty often. Looks like this higher low would have worked out, at least just for the scalp. I was saying I would have just wanted to take it back to the EMA, but again, I was too uncertain about this one, and overall it's really choppy. It hasn't really taken off, so it's not like it's a magnificent trade. Price is running into support on the NQ, looking more and more range-like. Again, I don't want to draw the full range yet because I don't want to mess myself up. There could be some resistance up in there. Definitely some support, could be some resistance. RTY, I think, is trying to figure out whether it's going to test these highs, the break a new high, possibly make this measure move, or whether we're just going to turn down after this break a new high. This main uptrend has already been hit. So I think that's what we're trying to figure out now. As far as setups go, closest for a setup, I think, is the CL, and that's still pretty far. Expecting prices to come down to this main side. I'm getting pretty bored. I'm like very tempted to just be like, I'm just gonna call it. But again, I've got about an hour left. I want to stick around. I want to learn. I think I'm just mainly bored because there's nothing really setting up. That's okay. I wish I had a sweatshirt pocket. All I've got is my pants pocket. Should probably go without saying that I was pretty zoned out there, but there was nothing really to see, so I'm wondering if that's like a bad thing or not. So like I was still kind of analyzing charts a little bit, but also I was thinking about something else. The NQ and the ES, there's nothing to take. Nothing yet. CL, still waiting for prices to reach the main side, and the RTY looks like it's going to make this break a new high most likely. So it looks like there was like a short-term downtrend here that gets a break a new low, and now we're headed to attempt the break a new high of the secondary trend. You know, I removed that range right there, but I like it. I like it there. I'm gonna put it back. I could see two possibilities for this chart. I could see maybe a higher low to test the highs, or I could see maybe a second entry short where prices kind of make a double top and fail to reach the highs. Those are the two possibilities that I see on that chart. CL is just kind of continuing to move downwards little by little. So let's see if we can get that bounce off of these lows and maybe a setup off there. That would be very nice. It's really coming down outside, raining. RTY is moving up. Looks like it'll probably make the break a new high. So hopefully it'll go ahead and do that, do whatever it's got to do up here, and then turn down, and maybe we can get some entries to the short side within the next hour before I hop off. ES is struggling to find any momentum off these lows. Just finding support, 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 support. But not really taking off to the long side. Still the most likely is probably the CL, so just gonna keep an eye on that one. I mean, I'm watching all of them, but this is the main chart. While I kind of have a second here, I'm going to check out Mac's chart and see what he's got for the day. Looks like Mac has just about the same thing. He doesn't have, he only has, you know, the ES chart, but he doesn't have this slightly bigger downtrend here that I have drawn. But I do like it. I mean, it comes down here and it does have the break and new low, and it still plays out and everything, so I'm going to leave it. He has the same range though, same uptrend, same downtrend here. His range is actually just a tad different. He's got it pulled lower like this. Not that that's really that important. So pretty much the same there. Until prices kind of take off, nothing to see in the ES. Incur price is just bouncing up against this support level, making lower highs, and well, just lower highs though, so it does have a slight bearish imbalance there. CL still waiting for price to come down to the main side. RTY, it looks like it's going to hit this break a new high, but it's not quite there yet. again, could get a second entry short here. I wouldn't take it, but I could see a second entry short where prices, this short-term uptrend plays out. Maybe like a break and a new high and a double top to create that second entry. Could be a possibility. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty relaxed. I'm a little bit bored. Things have gotten really slow. There's nothing really setting up on any of the charts. But for the most part, I'm pretty content sitting here. So here's this potential second entry short like I was talking about. And it creates that, what looks like kind of a triple test now, but really kind of a double top. I wouldn't take that, but I've seen Mac take similar trades. So I at least want to point it out that it could be okay. The bar isn't particularly bearish. Actually, the bar is not bearish at all, so I can't in good conscience mark that. Still might hit this break in new high for this one and measured move up. Still a possibility. Struggling to get up there as the short-term uptrend already has a break in new high. We're getting the break in new high on this chart. Looks like we're right up to it. Not quite there yet, but right up to it. Double top. Looks like we're going to do it. So everything's played out on this chart. Now I'd just be looking for shorts. CL is finding some buying too. So it looks like this downtrend played out early. Downtrend played out before prices reached the main side, and now we're headed back higher. In fact, all the charts are kind of moving higher right now. Nothing even remotely close to setting up on any of the charts. The closest thing would be the RTY. You might get a bearish bar. You could get a really bearish bar to ride it back to the EMA after everything's played out to the upside. I wouldn't personally take that. Not right now, it's a little bit too aggressive. I'm waiting on the hell yeah entries, and that's not quite a hell yeah entry. But it is a bearish bar. Prices are looking sideways up there though, so lots of choppy action, but you do get this bearish bar, ticks higher, turns down, room to the EMA, everything's played out to the upside. You could possibly pull this out though, but I think it's played out. So maybe that's an entry there. I'll have to count how many times I've yawned today. I probably won't do that, but maybe I will. Not much to do on the ES. Not much to do on the NQ. Same with the CL. Closest thing would be the RTY, getting some sort of push below the EMA, and maybe I guess you could get a failure, but it's pretty unlikely that you'll get that. Maybe you count this a double top and you can get a 1, 2 under the EMA. That's a possibility. But I am expecting some sort of reversal or sideways action from the RTY about now. It's more likely that you'll get sideways action than a reversal though, so just want to keep that in mind. Don't force it, only take the reversal if it's dead obvious. So far it's not. So far we haven't really pushed through the EMA in the way that I would have liked. One of my screens is like a lot newer, and so the colors are a lot like softer, or it's like higher definition and not as hard on the eyes, whereas one of my monitors is like a lot older, and so like the whites really just, man, they get to me sometimes. I can't believe I used to just trade off this one screen because like it's so much harder to look at than the newer monitor. It seems like the NQ is probably going to break through this support soon. I mean, it's tested it so many times and it's struggling to go higher. Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe this is the one. I don't know. This could be the one that breaks through it. Still not entirely sure what's going on this chart. Looks to me like this downtrend could be correct. Maybe it has like an overshoot. Maybe that's an overshoot. Let's see where the midline fits best. Midline fits well there. It fits well there. I don't know. So maybe we're still headed to this break and new low, but a little bit uncertain. We are breaking through this support finally, so maybe we'll get some movement there. ES is similarly making a lower low, but not getting that close through the support yet. Looks like it might be coming. You might get a spike and channel down, although that doesn't really look quite right to me. I don't see anything on the NQ that's similar to. Really bouncing off this opposite side, the opposite side of this CL channel. So not much you can do except for wait for prices to come back down. Because of prices continuously failing to come back to the main side, so you see them move up, kind of comes close, doesn't come back to the main side, comes off the main side, or comes off the opposite side, can't reach the main side, comes off the opposite side. If there's a really good setup, then I might be willing to take it even if it's not off of this trend line. But ideally, I do want to wait until prices come back to that. Looks like the NQ and the ES might be finally breaking down. You can see a micro breakout pullback on the NQ. I think this range is probably good enough where I can draw it now. I do think that's probably correct. The highs might not be quite right. It could actually be maybe like there, but gonna leave them there. Looks like we are kind of breaking down though. Possible kind of shorter term downtrend working lower there. And target is these lows. Yes, not too much to see. Just kind of breaking below this range, so nothing to really do there. Maybe a short setup on the NQ, but everything is really choppy and sideways, and I don't really see anything I love. Kind of breaking down on the Russell. I should stop saying RTY and I should say Russell Oil NQ ES, which I guess doesn't really make sense, but I don't want to say S&P 500. So ES I like. NASDAQ, I could say NASDAQ, but I like NQ. That's pretty easy too. NQ. CL. CL's not too hard, but oil's easier. Russell. I like Russell better than RTY. RTY feels like a mouthful. Anyway, it's moving down finally. So we get that push through the EMA. I was thinking about taking a failure here, but it didn't push through the EMA quite right. Now we do have a new high, and there is the possibility for a second entry short or a failed second entry long. I am expecting prices to move down, or at least sideways. So again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't want to get too locked into the idea that now the uptrend's over, we're going to start a downtrend, because that's not always true. We're actually more likely to go sideways than anything. So back to watching just sort of all four charts. They're all in an interesting area, but not anything that's like about to get an entry. Like nothing that's like right. Oh, shoot. That's what I get for trying to talk with my hands. Nothing that's like right there. think I'm done with this coffee. It's getting a little gross. Both the NQ and the ES are finding some buying on the failed breakout, coming back within their respective ranges. There could soon be a buying opportunity on CL. We're getting this leg back, so if we get a nice pullback, so a nice break new low, maybe a higher low, I might like that. And then I might be looking for a short on the Russell. So there we go. I didn't say RTY. I said Russell this time. Could be a second entry. You'll notice the NQ coming back within this range, which is kind of expected after a breakout. So it broke out of the support level, coming back within. Let's see if we're going to trade back within the range, or maybe this is just a breakout pullback. Same with the ES though. Broke out of the support, coming back within. Right now, really looking at the CL and the Russell. Again, I could see a potential short similar to what I was looking for here, where everything's played out. But this time we made a lower high, and if we make another lower high with a second entry short and a bearish bar, I could see that being a potentially good setup there. Really getting some down action on the CL now. Took forever to get a true correction, but now we're really finding some selling. And now that I look at this, I could see maybe this being a good entry because you have this downtrend break new low, big bullish bar, third test of the possible trend line at that point. Maybe a higher low, but I don't like that kind of inside doji bar. Break a new low here, but it's in the middle of nowhere. You get the higher low here, maybe that could be a good one. Nothing else really on the CL. On the ES, this trade was probably worth taking. I didn't take it though. Triple test, lower high after second entry short, or it's kind of an equal high. And then there's this one, kind of the higher low after the 2 legs down off the support level. Just kind of take it back to the EMA. I don't see anything else on the ES. NQ. I was hoping for that second entry short. That would have been a good one. Didn't appear. Downtrend gets a break and 2 legs down. Uptrend gets a break and new high. Turns back down off this resistance level. No setups, no setups. Could be a major downtrend here, though I'm still not positive about that one. No setups here. It's too congestive. You can't take any of that. Uptrend gets a break and new high. 2 legs, 2 new high, actually. And you get a big bearish bar. Maybe you ride that back to the EMA. Seems a little sketchy, though. I took this failure. I'm going to have to study that later because it seems like it's good because I was kind of playing this larger downtrend. So it seems like it's good, but barely got out, which makes me think that it probably wasn't very good. In fact, let's see how I probably got out by like 2 or 3 ticks. 1.25 points, so 5 ticks. Yeah, 5 ticks. So I got out by a little bit more than I thought, but it just kind of didn't go super far. So it makes me think that I misread this one. Anyway, we go into this range. Maybe you look to take something off the lows. At this point, I wouldn't be comfortable taking a lower high. That's about all that I see there. Kind of those 2 trades. CL, I was just looking at this one. Possible second entry short. I didn't like how congestive it was, but you might be looking for this break and new low of the downtrend. And at this point, it's still kind of looking like a range. So that's a possibility. But then if you got this uptrend in time, 3 touches, 2 touches, downtrend is played out. Though at the time I was looking at this downtrend, which still could have been correct and makes it a little bit suspect. But anyway, now you get that bullish bar. Well, it actually doesn't break higher here, so I wouldn't have even wanted to take that because it doesn't break higher above that bar anyway. So uptrend, 2 legs back. Wouldn't want to take that one in the middle of nowhere. Higher low, maybe you consider that, but kind of just came off this side and now it feels like the middle of nowhere and you might have some resistance up at this level. So not my favorite. Downtrend break new low, uptrend break new high, 1 leg back. Maybe you'll get a 2 legs back to a place where I can take an entry there. RTY, uptrend, 2 legs back. It looks like a short-term downtrend with a break and 2 legs to a new low. Nice bullish bar. This one's definitely aggressive, but was a good trade. You do get a second entry long here. Not looking to take that. It's too congestive. And it's kind of congesting right around the EMA, and it's kind of uncertain. You get the second large leg down with the short-term downtrend getting a break and new low. You get a first entry, second entry failure, but it's moved too far. You're taking it right into the highs. You don't want to do that. It's moved too far. Off this high, you get a first entry, second entry long, looking for the break and new high of this, and overall looking for the break and new high of the last uptrend. I really like that one, but I missed that one because I was distracted. I just wasn't watching this chart. Anyway, this uptrend gets a break and 2 legs to a new high of its own. You get a lower high with a big bearish bar far from the EMA, so you can take that just to ride it back to the EMA. Again, it's aggressive, but that's what I see. Overall, I want to see how this pullback looks on the NQ, and the RTY is trading back above the EMA. So instead of getting just a straight up reversal, it appears this one's probably going to end up being some sort of range. And that fits well right there. Get this touch here, a couple touches here, but we'll have to see if this ends up holding. I am going to run to the restroom, and I'll be back. Okay, looks like I didn't really miss anything here. Both the ES and the NQ are just coming back within their ranges. NQ looks like, I do think this downtrend could be correct. Not able to play out though. Looks like the short-term uptrend gets a break in new high. We're just back within this range. ES looks pretty similar. Short-term uptrend looks like it gets a break in new high. Now we're just back within this range, chopping around. Still could see the possibility of a downtrend here. I'm going to draw that just in case, but again, I'm just not certain about that one. Do not know about that. It's one of those where it's like it could be correct, but it doesn't look very correct. So it's kind of like I'm on the fence about it. CL continuing to kind of move higher. No setup on this pullback, unfortunately. RTY chopping sideways. I think that's it. I'm not going to get a setup in the next 10 minutes, so I'm just going to go ahead and call it. Go ahead and shut her down. And I won't be trading tomorrow, so I'm going out of town this afternoon. So I won't be here tomorrow, and there's no trading Friday anyway, but I, of course, won't be here Friday either. I'm going to be out of town. So see you guys later.